My wife whispered to her mom, "I'm taking half his business in the divorce." I overheard every word. By the time she filed, I'd already protected everything. Her shocked face was priceless. "Hello, Reddit-I plus here. My name is Marcus Halloway. I'm 36 years old. And this is the story of how a single sentence I wasn't supposed to hear saved me from losing everything I built, and how my wife lost it all chasing a fantasy." I met Lena, who's 34 now, at a wine tasting event hosted by a mutual friend. She had that kind of charisma that pulled people in. She could talk to a stranger for 5 minutes and remember their name, their dog's name, and their favorite vacation spot. I was smitten from the start. Back then, I was still grinding away at my digital advertising agency. Started it in my one-bedroom apartment, living off cheap noodles and instant coffee while I built websites and ran campaigns for local businesses. By the time Lena and I got married 5 years later, the agency had grown into something real. 15 employees, solid revenue, a downtown office with glass walls that made me feel like I'd made it. Lena worked in corporate HR for a tech company. Good job, good pay, but she used to say things like, "I wish we could do something together. I want to be more than just someone's employee." I thought it was sweet, like she wanted to build our future side by side. I had no idea those words would twist into something much darker later. The cracks started about a year ago. Lena started questioning why my business partner, Ethan, still owned 30% of the company. "You're the one running everything now. Why does he deserve that cut?" What she didn't understand, or didn't care to, was that Ethan put up the seed money when no one else believed in me. Without him, there'd be no business to speak of. I brushed it off at first, but then came the moment that changed everything. It was a Sunday afternoon at Trader Joe's, grocery run, totally normal. I was loading bags into the trunk while Lena sat in the car on the phone with her mom. Windows down because it was warm out. I went back for the last bag of groceries. That's when I froze. "Mom, I'm telling you," Lena whispered, her voice sharp. "The lawyer said I can take half his company in the divorce. The house, the savings, everything. He has no clue. I've been moving money for months. Once I file, he'll never see it coming." I stood there holding a bag of apples like an idiot, while my wife plotted my financial murder. She even laughed. "He's so trusting. He thinks I'm job hunting. I've been building my case. Every late night, every weekend he works, I've got it documented." My hands went numb. My world went cold. I quietly set the apples in the trunk, closed it gently, and forced my face into neutral before sliding into the driver's seat. "Everything okay?" she asked sweetly, hanging up. "Yeah. Your mom good?" "She's great." She kissed my cheek, smiling. I drove home while she scrolled Instagram reels, showing me funny dog videos like she hadn't just revealed her plan to rob me blind. The next morning, while she thought I was at work, I drove straight to my lawyer, Daniel Price, an old college buddy who had handled my business contracts for years. I spilled everything. Daniel frowned, pulled up our records, and then smiled slowly. "Marcus, do you remember when we restructured the agency 3 years ago?" Vaguely. It had been a mountain of paperwork. That's when we created a holding company and had Lena sign a postnuptial agreement. We framed it as protecting her from liability in case your business got sued. She signed it, with her own lawyer reviewing it. And the document explicitly states, "All current and future growth of the business belongs solely to you." I sat back in shock. She signed it? Black ink, notarized. She can't touch the business. Relief washed over me. The company was safe. The house, savings, and shared assets, that was another story. But my life's work? Untouchable. For the next 2 weeks, I played the role of doting husband. Smiles, compliments, helping around the house. Meanwhile, I froze my credit, opened a new personal account she didn't know about, moved sensitive documents into a safety deposit box, and installed hidden security cameras. I also started digging, and what I found made my blood boil. Lena had secretly opened 3 credit cards in her name, all maxed out on designer clothes and business expenses. She hadn't been going to work for weeks. Her LinkedIn showed her as launching a new chapter as an independent consultant. And worst of all, she was working with her high school ex-boyfriend Derek Lawson, a guy who bragged about selling a startup for millions. On her iPad, which she stupidly left logged in, I found texts between them. "Once I get Marcus's money, we'll have everything we need. Don't worry, he's clueless." 2 weeks later, Lena came home looking serious. "Marcus, I don't think this is working. You're always busy. We've grown apart. I think we should separate." I played dumb. "Counseling? Maybe we can work through it?" She frowned, annoyed. Not the reaction she expected. We did 2 sessions. She spent them ranting about how unsupported she felt. When the therapist suggested we plan date nights, she nearly rolled her eyes out of her skull. Finally, she dropped the mask. "I want a divorce." "Okay," I said calmly, but let's do it right. With lawyers. Her jaw tightened. She wanted me blind. Her lawyer's demands arrived a month later. 50% of my business, the house alimony, and 70% of liquid assets. Daniel actually laughed when he read it. We fired back with the postnup, receipts of her hidden credit cards, proof she'd abandoned her job, and screenshots of her messages with Derek. Her side went quiet. Then came the compromise. She'd take just the house equity and her savings. We countered with 50% of the house equity and savings as of separation, minus the $42,000 she secretly transferred out. She had no choice. The day she moved out, she tried one last dig. You were always too calculating. No passion. Derek appreciates me. I smiled. Good luck with that. I'm sure Derek's lawyers are better than mine. She slammed the door. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Lena and Derek launched their consulting firm and stole 3 of my biggest clients using inside knowledge she'd gotten from me. That was a $400,000 revenue hole. But then Derek got cocky. He tried to poach my project manager, Emma, offering her double pay if she brought over client lists. She played along, got the offer in writing, and sent it to me. We hit them with a cease and desist, threatening a multi-million-dollar lawsuit and criminal charges for corporate espionage. They folded, settled for $450,000, and a signed agreement never to contact my clients again. 6 months later, Lena showed up at my office looking wrecked. No makeup, hair messy, designer clothes crumpled. "Please, Marcus," she whispered. "Derek cleaned me out. He said I committed fraud and left me. His lawyers are after me. I have nothing." I stared at her. "You want me to pay for a lawyer to fight the man you cheated with to ruin me?" Her eyes hardened. "You owe me. I gave you 8 years. You also tried to rob me blind," she snapped. "I'll tell everyone you were abusive. I'll ruin your reputation." I pulled out my phone, hit record. "Say that again." For the camera, she froze, then stormed out. 3 months later, I got a call from a DA investigator. Derek was under federal investigation for serial fraud, conning women into giving him money during divorces, then stealing it. Lena had handed him every dime she got from me. Her restitution? $900. She went back to live with her mother in Ohio. I haven't heard from her since, except for one final call. If I hadn't listened to him, would we have made it? I sighed. We'll never know. Goodbye, Lena. The business is stronger than ever. I used the settlement money to buy out Ethan's shares. I now own 100%. Clients trust me more than ever because I proved I could survive an inside attack. And personally, I met someone new, Clara, a school teacher who thinks advertising is boring and just wants me home for dinner, and I couldn't be happier. The lesson: trust your gut, protect what's yours, and never underestimate the power of a well-timed postnup. The best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building a life so good they're nothing but a forgotten chapter. It had been nearly 2 years since the divorce when Lena reappeared. I was leaving a business conference in Chicago when I saw her outside the hotel lobby. She looked nothing like the woman I once married. Thin, pale, clothes that screamed, last season clearance. But it was her eyes that caught me. Tired, desperate, the shine of manipulation replaced by emptiness. "Marcus," she said softly, almost pleading. "Please, can we talk?" I should have kept walking, but part of me wanted closure, so I stopped. "What do you want, Lena?" She swallowed hard. "I made mistakes. Derek ruined me. He lied, he took everything. I see now what I had with you, what I lost. I don't want money, I just want another chance." Her voice cracked. She even reached for my hand, like muscle memory. But here's the thing. I wasn't that man anymore. The one who once thought Lena's smile could light up a room. I'd seen behind the curtain, and once you see betrayal that deep, the spell is broken forever. I pulled my hand back. "You didn't lose me, Lena. You threw me away. For greed, for him. And now you want me to pretend none of that happened?" Her lip trembled. "People make mistakes." "No, people make choices," I cut in. "And you chose money, lies, and betrayal. That's who you are. And I don't let ghosts back into my life." I turned to leave, but she called after me, voice breaking in public for the first time I'd ever seen. "Marcus, please, I loved you." I didn't even look back. "You loved what I could give you. And that's not love." That was the last time I saw her in person. She tried a few more times, emails, messages, even a birthday card once, but I never responded. Because the truth is, walking away isn't about anger, it's about peace. And peace only comes when you stop letting the past reach for you with its claws. Lena became a ghost in my story, and ghosts don't belong in the future. Now, every evening when I walk through the door, and Clara greets me with a kiss and a question about my day, I'm reminded of the one thing Lena never understood. Love isn't about taking. It's about choosing, every day, to stay, and that's why I walked away.